Gonna record this as always. We're gonna get Nick in here, get him unmuted. Welcome guys to
What's up, guys?
another. What's going on, bro?
What's up, dude? And we're back again, just like that, for another Sunday Market Blitz. Hopefully, you guys had a good week. Hopefully, you guys had a good weekend. Got some time off the charts to chill, and yeah, hopefully, you guys are ready. This is, ready to go. Good week. We got the charts marked up. Analysis is out. Feeling good. How about you?
Oh yeah, ready to get into it. We're gonna look at some cryptos, some forex. So guys, if you've been on the Sunday Market Blitz, then you know the deal. We'll pretty much run through all of our analysis for the week. So we're just gonna cover all the pairs that we're looking at, give you a higher overview, basically going over a swing trading type strategy on this call. If we see any trade ideas, we'll pretty much call them out. And the goal of this, guys, is for you to see how we're doing our analysis, compare it to your own, and use it as an aid throughout the week. So this is going to be recorded. We're going to post it on YouTube, on our YouTube channel, as always. So if you guys miss any part of the webinar, just rewatch the replay. And if you guys have any questions, just hit up the chat. We'll try to answer them more towards the end of the session. So yeah, let's pretty much just get it rolling.
Yeah, do it.
Let's see. I got you with the share.
All right, there you go. All right, so pretty much as Angelo said, we're gonna, take a look at some charts, get the overview for the week, really just focus on the trends for the week ahead and what the potential is, right? So we're here on the 4 hour. That's really where we're going to stay for most of these trade scenarios. But I am going to go to the daily time frame for one reason. We're trying to assess the overall trend on the daily. Then we'll go to the 4 hour, see if that lines up and increase our, chances of finding a trade, and a profitable one at that. So very clearly here on DXY, we could see that there are very strong characteristics of a bullish trend, right? Higher highs, higher lows, continuations, breaks of resistance, a test of support, and so on. So very bullish here on DXY. We have been for a little while. This was pretty much set off over here back in September. We've been bullish since for the most part. So we could take that information down to the 4 hour and see if this trend lines up with that as well. Is this looking more bullish or more bearish, right? Clearly this is looking bullish as well, right? Very strong characteristics, higher highs, higher lows. We're breaking resistance right now. Price action is above that. So we have two aligning timeframes here, which is good. That definitely gives us an idea as to where price action could be going for the week ahead. So we want to ride the trend, stay with that. At this point, we're at a high. We're looking for structure on DXY, nice higher low here above this minor zone, but most importantly, above the 100 zone. So we just want structure at this point going forward into the week. That would be a really good indication. It would give us really good confidence in being long on, dollar pairs or, on the dollar itself. So we could take that into other analyses and plan accordingly. Now, if this doesn't happen, let's say we fail to get structure, it doesn't pull back, it just drops right through this level, we can expect consolidation as long as we're around this 100 zone. That's what we've seen over here, a little bit of consolidation, a bit of an expanding pattern, some increasing volume there, another dip into this zone. But if we get a nice lower high below, just expect some consolidation or some bouncing. So we'll look for that. But right now, it's definitely more bullish, looking for those key reactions closer to some structure points. So yeah, keep note of this bullish dollar for this week. We'll jump over to AU, and we're going to do the same thing, right? Go to the daily, what's the overall trend, and then see if we can make sense of it on the 4 hour, and so on. So we were very bullish here. Let's just follow price action, right? We saw some bouncing over here. This was like a high volume range. We finally got above it, established a high, got a higher low, and then continued, right? It followed through to the upside. So here's our new higher high. We saw some consolidation there. Then it made a last attempt, came back down, started turning bearish, right? We're getting lower lows, lower highs now, and then good bearish follow through. So we're definitely at a crucial area. It's technically still bullish if we're above 0.725 on the daily, but the 4 hour is evidently very bearish. We'll get into that in a second. But this is the key area. So I mean, it's probably going to break and confirm daily bearish, but we don't want to jump the gun. We need to drop the time frame and get a closer look at 0.725. Okay, so daily time frame, 4 hour time frame rather. Here we are. You can just see over here, we broke these higher lows, Here was the original break. We bounced a couple times, got some sort of descending triangle, broke below the zone right at 0.74, came back up. It is a lower high, but it was a little not like ideal, you could say, right? You want to see a lower high below a zone that it just broke, kind of confirming it as resistance. Instead, it kind of came back up, consolidated a little bit, and then dumped. That's when the conviction stepped in. The real bearish momentum stepped in. This was more or less a fake out over here, which was interesting. But it did follow through, dumped, and now you could see, obviously, we threw a fib on it. Very extended here on the 4-hour, lacking structure. So we're expecting some sort of pullback. That would be nice. But just due to the volume here and how it's reacting right now, there's honestly a lack of reaction that we're seeing on this time frame as of right now. So the likelihood of this pushing lower, pulling back, then forming structure for even larger high volume bearish trend, this would be interesting for short entries. And it would look something like this, right? Let's say it got below, came back up and retested, and then gave us a nice reversal pattern. We'd be looking to target down towards these deeper fib levels, wherever the new fib would line up. But yeah, so this would be a nice short scenario if it does play out. There's still some time on this, right? We need to see it really drop below this zone, then pull back, then give us the reversal, then we enter. So it's going to take some time. But yeah, we're just going to see how it reacts here. 0.725. So keep an eye on that. But yeah, not bad. Looking pretty good on AU. We'll see something, I'm sure. AJ. So we're going to go to the daily time frame on this one as well. And this one is super bullish. It's actually very overextended. We haven't formed structure since we kicked this rally off. And it's very extended, right? We need to be careful on this one. Need to be super patient because actually can't see that thing. There we go. So this appreciated. It rallied about 13% almost on the pair itself, which is pretty crazy. Just shy of 1,100 pips. So we have to be patient on this, right? We want structure ideally. Any trades that we take up in this area they're at risk for some sort of massive pullback, because this volume could step in, go to form structure, and then continue at any moment. So you got to be careful. Okay, so I've kind of been on the sidelines with this one the last few weeks, just waiting for it to show us something. And all we've been getting is this consolidation and then these quick moves to the upside, how it's just like hiking a little bit higher each time. So let's go to the 4-hour. I did mark this up on the 4-hour, but again, there's caution. You should have caution here because it could pull back dramatically at any moment, kind of like what we're seeing now. So the 4-hour is looking pretty bearish. This is a pretty big fall off. Kind of got kicked off a cliff up here. Just been dumping since. So this is kind of the median zone. We're waiting for reactions at 92.85. Either it's going to curve up and start bouncing between these zones again. We'll have to see what type of price action we can see after that. But it also could just slide through this zone, go to hit structure down here closer to 91 support. That would be ideal. We really want to see that happen, where price action falls and then maybe gives us some sort of pattern, some sort of consolidation, something with a little more clear structure that we could then base better trades on. Because right now you got to wait. You don't want to jump the gun on something, and you really want to wait for structure. So ideally something like this slides down to 91 support, form structure, gives us some sort of consolidation, and then we see a bullish trend emerge that we can then start longing. But until then, guys, yeah, be careful with this one. AJ is a wild card. At least it has been too recently. Very, very hard to read. Not the cleanest. Definitely been at the bottom of my watch list. But let's go over to UJ. Something interesting here is happening as well. And we're already on the daily, so we're just going to grab the trend and then move to the 4-hour. And this is very, very bullish. Super steep trend here. I mean, we could fib this from conviction down here. That is not the fib tool. Okay. Thought structure there. Let's redraw the fibs now from this point all the way up to here, which we have drawn actually. So very bullish. Let's go to the 4-hour now. Get a closer look at these fibs and structure. So what's going on here? This has been in a super strong channel, really not showing any signs of bearishness yet. So we got to play careful. We know this is pretty overextended too. Could definitely pull back quite a bit. We need that structure to form to gain long confidence. But the most likely scenario for this week is that we're just going to keep pushing higher. There's nothing here that suggests bearishness yet. So we can't possibly say that it's going to dump yet. We need to see price action before we can get, a clear direction. So right now, still very much in the channel, probably going to keep going to a new high. Maybe 130 is the area where we'll see a, massive rejection. Some of those sellers will start to step into the market. But if it starts to reverse now, this is kind of the short scenario that we would entertain, where it would throw a transition of 127.7. We'd break this higher low, see a lower high, and then we could enter short on that, targeting down towards 125 support, which also lines up with our 61.8 fib level. So that would be an ideal scenario. Just kind of short that retracement and then see how price action reacts at this level. Maybe it'll consolidate, give us, clean structure, and then we could be back to long scenarios. But for now, this is what we got. We got to wait and see if price action is going to keep rallying, find reversals up there maybe, or if it does dump, we know what we want to see to go short. So there's some opportunity here. Just got to wait. But let's move over to EJ. So EJ is looking pretty good. We're going to get to that setup in a second. Let's go to the daily as well. And this one is also super bullish. Okay, so we broke this massive flag here and 133 resistance, pushed up to 137, came back down, gave us a higher low after some consolidation, rallied back through 137, which is now where we're looking for higher lows in this time frame to even, to consider this even more bullish on a daily time frame. So this is interesting. It's forming good structure on the way up. It is super bullish. We need to go to the 4-hour, get a closer look, and let's see what we got. Okay, so we actually had a couple phases of consolidation here before this recent rally. Let's take a look at them. So we hit the high of 137. We bounced a little bit. There's some good volume there. Look at the size of the candles, right? That's pretty high volume ranging. Then we dropped lower, so actually broke this higher low, started consolidating down here, a little more strict. Then we broke above, and now we got consolidation in the form of an ascending triangle. Notice all those higher lows, right? Pushing up to 137 resistance. Finally, it popped on a breakout. Good candlestick there. It's a bullish Maribozu. Took off, volumes increasing. Now we're seeing a bit of a double top, some consolidation up here. Hopefully, this is a reversal pattern where it drops down to 137. I'd really like to see price action hit this zone, test it as support, and reject off that. That would give us a lot of confidence in continuing to long EJ. So really, this trade path here is it. This is like the golden route. I'm really hoping that it drops, consolidates, gives us some sort of rejection, then bullish candlesticks to enter on. We'll be on the 1-hour, 30-minute looking for those candles to form. And then we're going to target towards 141, nice psychological level, as well as the negative 27 fib level. So we got a pretty good trade. This is just over 4-1. Stop loss is going to be as below 137 as possible. Again, that'll depend on where we actually get a reversal if one does present itself. So we got some good risk reward, good setup mark. Now we just got to wait, right? Wait and see if it follows this trade path, and we'll be ready. Okay, now if this doesn't happen, let's say we don't continue bullish. Let's entertain the idea that we break 137 in a bearish way. Look for price action to really establish a low below that. Come back for the retest, give us that lower high. And once that lower high is confirmed through bearish setups, that's when we can enter short. That's when we can start looking down towards lower support levels. But right now, I'm feeling pretty confident on this long setup, right? We're really far away from this zone breaking. We need to see the reaction first. So this is going to look pretty good. I'm excited for EJ this week. Could be a pretty massive trade. Actually, let's go back to that real quick. How many pips was that? 340, just 339. It's not bad. It's a pretty big trade. So let's jump over to gold because some stuff has been happening with gold lately. But let's go to the daily time frame first. Here we are. Very bullish. As we can see, we rallied pretty much from 1825 straight to 2070. That's a pretty mean rally right there. I mean, this is 13% of gold, right? So gold appreciated by 13% in this window, which is pretty nuts. So we moved up from there, saw a massive reversal, came back down, and price action has been resting at 1930 since. This is all consolidation at 1930. That's really been holding this overall trend as bullish, because if we broke below that, it would have been looking more bearish than anything else. So really, this is the key zone, 1930, where this existing range was. So let's get a closer look. We know we're bullish overall, but let's see what the 4-hour is saying. Okay, so let's cover this first, right? So here was the consolidation, couple fake outs you guys can spot, long wicks, bad follow through. Those are all fake outs. So once this consolidation was done, we broke above, we actually made it all the way up to 1970 on that wick, and then came back for the higher low, followed through, nice engulfing there. Right, there would have been an entry in there. Thing rallied quite a bit. We actually had eyes on 2000 again, because this looked like it had a lot of momentum. We only made it to 1998, and then it dumped from there right to the top of this range at 1950 area, 1948. And then we saw a little bit of reaction, a little bit of a descending triangle present there, and then it broke. It broke back below the range, right? So if you are to take a trade in a range, I usually like the first entrance back into the range. That usually carries the most momentum. So this would technically be an active trade. But going forward, this is probably just going to sink to the bottom of the range and then start consolidating, right? And then we know how to play ranges going forward, right? We want to see structure above in the form of a higher low if it's going to go bullish, or a lower high below if it's going to go bearish. I mean, you can trade ranges, to each their own, guys. Everyone has their own style. Some people like trading ranges. I don't personally. I'm just waiting for the break and the trend to resume. Ranges, there's just no trend present. That doesn't really support my trading strategy. So yeah, I mean, it's bearish right now. It's probably going to hit this low, and then we'll see some reactions from there. If it breaks the range, which could be massive, right? Let's say it sinks. Let's do a little bit further analysis here. Let's say it does this, where it just sinks past the range, completely blows out support, comes back up. Look for lower highs, actual lower highs with follow through, not like this crap over here, right? That's not any sort of lower high. That's just a dip, and then it came right back. Same here. Dip, came right back. Just faked everybody out on that. So you need the follow through. That's key. Nice lower high below this range would be an incredible short position. And I'll mark it up too. We'll throw the trade measurements on it. Why not? Right. So that means rejection, some sort of reversal, any sort of reversal pattern would be enough. And then you want to enter on those strong bearish candles. So bearish variation, giant, evening star, giant engulfing, something like that. After we saw rejection, that's the follow through. That's the conviction. That's where we're looking for entries. Okay, so that would take place roughly in this area, right? Notice how it's not right at resistance. The entry would be down here after we're seeing the confirmation. So that's where realistically it's going to be. And this would be a pretty good trade. Stop loss would be just into the range above this resistance. And yeah, you get at least 2 to 1. You'd have to play with it a little bit depending on where those confirmations come in. But yeah, essentially this is it, right? So if it really just blows through the range, we're looking for this lower high below for a nice short position. But more than likely, this is going to just assume consolidation. Just going to keep ranging for maybe the next week or so. We'll see. But yeah, so that's gold. Do you have a question? So gold's in a downtrend on the 4 hour. On the daily, this is really the make or break zone. As long as we're around or above 1930, the daily bullish trend is still intact. Okay, but yeah, here on the 4 hour, it's definitely dropping, right? Strong characteristics of a bearish trend, lower lows, lower highs, lower lows, break of support. This is very clear on the 4 hour. Okay. So that's all the assets that I'm analyzing for you guys. Just a quick recap. Covered DXY, AU, AJ, UJ, EJ, and gold. And as Angelo said in the beginning of this webinar, these are live charts. They're posted Discord, Telegram, and you guys can use these throughout the week as your aid in trading. But yeah, so that's pretty much all I got for you guys. Pass it off to Angelo. Thanks. It's looking good though this week.
I'm gonna share my screen here. So if you guys do have any questions about Nick's analysis, just drop in the chat. And if you guys want to cover kind of any pairs, I'm pretty open to covering anything you guys want. So if you want any additional things covered, just post up in the chat. I'm gonna get started. Pretty much end with BTC. To get started, we're just gonna look at DXY. Just gonna see where this thing's been at as of lately. Haven't looked at it in like 2 weeks, I'd say 1 or 2 weeks. So let's see where we're at. So a couple weeks ago, put on this key level here at about 99. So right at the 100 mark. And this is definitely a significant area of resistance for the dollar. As you can see, we are pushing above here. Now we haven't actually been in this kind of position since all the way back when COVID started. So pretty much hitting the highs here from, previous pre-COVID kind of market conditions, which is very interesting in my opinion. This definitely is an area of resistance. We're possibly going to see reversal if we zoom out and just come up to the monthly time frame and historically just see right where we're at. We can see that there's been, we'll bring this on here. We can see that there's been a lot of resistance in this area, as you can see with this level, this little wick, and then right here. So if we just kind of mark this off, this is right where we're currently at. So to put it pretty much right there. And again, the reason I'm just putting this down as an idea is we have some resistance here, resistance, resistance, resistance. So multiple times. And if we even go further back, we could probably point out some support right there and some resistance around this area as well. So this is kind of the zone that we're moving into at the moment. As you can see on the month, we're on the monthly time frame right now. We have a little bit ways to push up. So the dollar is certainly very strong. I mean, look at this month. It's moved up quite a bit. As we can see, this is a huge monthly candle right here. I'm expecting there to be some sort of rejection. I mean, we're just moving at these highs right here. And as we know, just market cycles, we're going to have a pullback at some point or another to retest these resistance levels that are now broken and turn into support. So we should be very mindful of this level. It's about 0.5% away. So it's not far away at all. So with that in mind, it's going to bump to the 4-hour trend, very strong. So we're probably going to hike up into this area this week, most likely. And with that in mind, let's just pop over and look at some of the Forex pairs here. So this, as you can see, this was actually the last analysis that I did because it was about 2 weeks ago. Because last week I didn't have any time to do some analysis. So let's see kind of where we're at. Let's kick it off with where we were the couple weeks ago. So on the weekly time frame, I'll leave that on, I guess. So weekly time frame, we have this weekly level. As most of you guys know that have been on the Sunday market blitz sessions before, I like to start on the weekly. When just doing the swing trading strategy, I like to start on the weekly time frame and then work my way down to the 4-hour. So the weekly is mainly just for what are the key levels that we're looking at, and then what is the trend, and then what are the candles actually forming for us. So here I marked this key level. We had support right there. We had resistance. We had support. We had support, and then as you can see, we were smashing into this area a couple weeks back, and then we were also forming a spinning top, which is a reversal type candle. So that's definitely telling me that we're hitting support. We're showing signs of reversal. That's why I was putting this long position on here. So on the weekly time frame, that was the thinking process. And then down to the 4-hour, going all the way back. Let's just take it back all the way to here. Pretty much what I started to notice was this head and shoulders pattern. So pretty much the play on this one is always when the neckline breaks, we're going to wait for the retest and then we're going to go along with this. Just typical pattern that we see over and over again. So we can see here, I was actually drawing out this other idea. Basically, if we broke support there, we were potentially going to go short if we did have rejection. And as you can see here, we did get some rejection there. Would I have taken a short on that? Maybe. But really what we were looking for was the retest after this break, because we have that head and shoulders pattern. So let's see if it comes back down. Let's just bring this all the way forward. So looking back at this, really the most ideal area to actually get in on a buy would have been here, because again, we're waiting for this head and shoulders to break. Didn't really come back and retest the neckline here. So it's kind of choppy, but ended up coming back, retesting the red zone. And we're always just trying to buy as long as we're above this red zone, just because on that weekly time frame, we've identified that this is a key area of support for us. So pretty much whether we held all the way from the point at which we took this trade all the way over here, or if we waited for the head and shoulders pattern to actually play out, didn't really play out that well. But if we were trying to get in on this, we probably would have got in somewhere in this area, thrown stops below the red zone, because this is the support area. We don't want to put stops above here when we know this is key support. So still would have been in the trade, or you're taking the trade here. I mean, don't have as much justification for taking the trade there. Let me see. Oh, battery's gonna die. Give me 1 second, guys. Just gonna cut my charger.
Yeah, he'll get to GJ. It's gonna be one that he covers. US oil, we actually don't cover oil. I used to trade oil, not anymore.
No oil.
No, I'm off. I've lost too much money on WTI. No thanks.
No more oil trading allowed.
No, only gold. That's it.
Sure. Yeah, oil is just too unpredictable these days with everything going on.
Yeah, it is. It's tough. Fun fact, CAD is very dependent and fluctuates based on oil prices, for those of you guys that didn't know.
This is GJ, GU. Yeah, I'm gonna do GU and GJ actually next. So looking at this, we had a couple different areas that we could have gotten in this trade. Now, say that you were looking at this head and shoulders pattern, you saw the break based on the idea that we were going to look for the retest and then take a short opportunity. Say you shorted this right there, you got stopped out. You should have then reversed your thinking here and said, okay, thought this was going to go lower. Obviously, buyer stepped in. Now I should be looking for buys. And then you still could have got in on one of these trade opportunities here. And then you would be covering that loss fairly easily at this point. But say you just stayed in the trade all the way from up here. This is like a true kind of swing trade right here. We're going for literally 400 pips on the target up here, which is obviously huge. So at this point, you still would be in the trade up 230 pips. Obviously, the stop loss is pretty big, 110 pips, but that's what we're looking for here. We're trying to trade zone to zone on this one. If you guys aren't in on USD CAD longs right now, really what I would be waiting for, I'm just going to clear this up a little bit, is you don't want to take buys now. This is kind of how you get roasted. You want to wait for some sort of retest. So in a potential area, what I'm talking about is a potential area you could get in on this is, say it forms, say all of a sudden it reverses right now and it forms some sort of higher low at this level. That would be a nice area to potentially buy at. So we're just going to mark this one out. And this is far away from this kind of happening, but we're just going to mark it out just for hypothetical. You could throw the stop loss, below the Fibonacci area. You could put it even lower if you wanted to. If you want to just make this trade 2-1, give yourself more room, have the 618 there as well. But I'm going to leave it at this point right here, because if it doesn't move off of this area and ends up going lower, most likely we'll end up going back into the support level all the way down here. So this is just an example of how to potentially scale in to your order so you actually miss the original trade. So let's think of this in terms of DXY. We're looking for DXY to move up another 0.6%. And let's see what that would be on this chart. So if it moves up, doesn't correlate 1-to-1, but we have 1% to go, about 1.3% to go until we get to the top here. So it'll be interesting. We are looking for, again, for DXY to move into this red zone. So we're looking for it to continue to go bullish. And if it did, that would align with USD CAD continuing to move to the upside. So definitely correlated when it comes to our idea with DXY and USD CAD. Let's bump over to GU. So this was a trade idea that we went over on the last Sunday Market Blitz as well. Obviously, this thing's floating a lot of deep in profit right now. Let's go to the weekly time frame and just break down. I feel like this trade is a very simple trade to take and to learn from. going on the weekly, we hadn't mapped all of this out, but we'll just review it. Basically, weekly time frame, again, what are we looking for? We're looking for our key levels, and then we're looking for structure. So zooming all the way out, we had our key level up here, not as relevant because we're all the way down here. But on the low side, why do I have this level marked down here? We have resistance, we have support all in this area. We have some resistance right there, and then we have resistance and support there. And look how how significant these moves are kind of off of these zones. We have this dip, we have this pullback all the way up here. This moves all the way off the line, all the way up there. Then we have two impulse kind of rejections there, but still significant moves to the downside. So this is definitely a key level. Once price gets in this zone, probably going to see some sort of reversal, some sort of buys in that area. And then let's zoom in a bit on actual price action here. Or let's just look at structure first before we look at price action. So we were moving to the upside, right? We're moving in an uptrend, and then all of a sudden we start forming very bearish structure here. So we're forming these lower lows, lower highs, very simple to identify. And this is where we were at a couple weeks back, 3 weeks back when we put this trade on here. What were we looking at? Pretty much we had a break of support right here. So we identified this as our support level. And then we had this doji candle. So it's like similar to the USD CAD trade idea. We have two confirmations. We have resistance, right? Support turn resistance. And then we have price action confirmation right there. And that's a nice structure level as well. So we know that's going to be pretty significant. And then this thing ended up obviously pushing pretty aggressively to the downside. So coming to the 4-hour time frame, then we had price come up. It was forming this uptrend structure on the 4-hour time frame. Not anything, not anything strong here. We had this new high, boom, boom. And then what happened? We had this trend broke, right? And we could go like literally all the way back if we really wanted to pull up. Let me see if I have this GU idea. So this is the analysis originally going into, so this was March 27th when this thing was actually posted. So this is the analysis going into it. You can see here weekly time frame, just formed a doji in at the resistance. So exactly what I just went over. On the 4-hour, we're still in an uptrend. We need the 1.315 level to break. So look for short opportunities. We'll wait for a break of structure here and retest before entering short. And then as you can see, that was the trade idea. Boom, boom. And then obviously we ended up adjusting this a little bit and increasing the take profit, as you guys can see right here. So pretty much came up here, it broke the support. We're looking for the retest of the red zone. That's definitely the most key area because that's support and resistance. Hit that area. We had multiple times enter this. Could have then scaled in here. I wouldn't have necessarily scaled in here. It's kind of a no man's land type thing. But this kind of looks like a good scaling area. Would have probably scaled in there as well. Could have even scaled in there. Would have kind of got burned on that though, but ended up moving to the downside anyway. But at this point, we're just riding this thing down now into this lower level. So this is about a 6-to-1 risk reward trade. And we will not get in on any type of re-entry unless price does come all the way up to the resistance, because right now there's literally nothing to do with this. So just going to sit on this one. Wait till that thing plays out. We could even look USD CAD. Let's come back because I have some old analysis here. So let's come back here. Let's go to GJ next. GJ is going to be fairly similar. As you can see on this one, didn't exactly get the trade idea we were looking for. So let's go to the weekly. So this is pretty interesting. So let's clear this up. So you guys, let's pretty much like do this analysis together on this one. So we're going to zoom out and I'm just going to delete everything. And we're going to start with completely naked chart, completely fresh, right? Let's just start on the weekly. And this is exactly how I just do my analysis. Sometimes I'll move to the monthly if it's kind of too busy. but I'm most likely just looking at the weekly time frame. As you can see, we've moved up quite a bit. We've moved up about 7% on GJ, entering pretty unknown territory right now. We were really riding this resistance level right here. And as you can see, we haven't actually been up here since 2016. So we haven't been up here in 6 years. So it's pretty wild how much GBP has gained strength over the last several months, over the last several weeks. And at this point, what are we really going to do? Because we can't grab any key levels from this area. So we kind of have to go back, and I'm just going to clean this up a little bit. We kind of have to go back right now and look for some levels with some older price action right now. Ideally, I want to grab something from this area. Do I see something that kind of like screams at me right now? Not really. I do see a level right here, and the reason I'm putting that is just we have all resistance along this area, then we have support, price moves up, comes down, and then we have some resistance there. So that's a pretty valid area. This is definitely a zone. Is it a strong zone? I don't think so. It's not one that I would be kind of excited about. We have support, then we have resistance there. And then if we were to drag this back, you can see there's some wicks that are kind of touching in that area. So what I want to do is I want to actually zoom out. I want to see, is this relevant at some point in the past? And as we're kind of bringing this out, we can actually see this is a pretty significant zone. The more and more that we pull this thing back all the way, this is all the way back to literally 2000. I don't know how relevant this really is, but looking at support, we have resistance there, support there, support there. So it's kind of validating this a little bit more. So with these two levels in mind, we have this upper level, we have this lower level. Let's bring on everything and kind of see where we're at. So now we can see we're right at a resistance level. So this is giving me some confidence now, looking for reversals, is we're at a weekly resistance level and we just formed this doji candle. So this is a reversal candle. We're at the resistance. That looks fantastic. So then coming down to here, when would I actually take a trade on this? So I'm really liking how this is the doji, what it's made up of. Really liking how this looks. Boom. We were in an uptrend and then we formed a higher low and then we just broke below the higher low. So we're always looking for a retest before looking for possible re-entry. So this is pretty much just forecasting idea for this pair. Let's just bring this down a little bit. So this would be pretty much the idea here. I'm not going to enter unless price either retests here, but do I want price to, do I want to enter there? I mean, we're above, then we're going to be above the support zone. Not really thrilled with taking a short there. So ideally price does this, maybe it makes a lower high there and it breaks below, and then it actually makes below this red zone. Then we would be a little bit more excited about actually taking an entry on this one, and then we'd simply just use our previous structure levels all the way on this weekly time frame to actually take a swing trade. So zooming out on the weekly, this is all resistance right here. You could see, boom, this is all resistance there. So that's why I'm using that as my TP level. So that's pretty much what I would do, is I would just wait for price to get below the red zone. If we even wanted to draw some sort of trend line there, we could do that. Could even do one of these if we wanted to get fancy. Right, so this little trend, moving to the upside, and then boom, we broke the trend. Now we're looking for the lower high. And then we're not trying to take a short there because we're not below our resistance. But once we get below the resistance, then take a pretty nice short opportunity. So GJ is lining up for a potential trade this week. So I'm going to move that one up. Let's go to Ncd Usd. So obviously this one ended up tanking. So this is a good idea, actually. This is a good example, actually, of two different trade ideas. So let's go back and look at the analysis for this one. So let's go all the way back to March. Yeah, I don't know if I'm gonna have. So yeah, you can see here, this is one of the trade ideas. So I don't have this one more recently. Let me see if I do. Yeah, I don't have this one more recently, which is fine, but we're just gonna go over this. So pretty much weekly time frame. The curve tool. Weekly time frame, we've got, or what we had was we had this level right here. And look at this level. This is very strong, guys. We had resistance all along this area. We had support all in this area, resistance, support. And then what I was looking to do was I was noticing that we had this bullish push, and then we had a break of resistance. And I was actually looking to go long on this in this area. As you can see, that kind of filled out. So going back to the point at which I had done this analysis, this was pretty much the idea here. It was pretty much, we were either going to hit a home run, hit a buy here that's going to go to the upside. We were at a support level right there, which is great. We're at a higher low point. We're at a support level, couple confirmations there. And as you can see, this thing did go flying quite a bit, ended up going up about 80 pips to the upside. And this is more than 1-to-1. So I always move my stops at 1-to-1. Always kind of recommend that. Once you get up about 1-to-1 risk reward, this even went to 2-to-1 risk reward. So once I'm up about like this much, normally rolling stops to break even. Don't want the winner to turn into a loser. We were targeting though 4.5 risk reward. So this thing ended up being a break even trade, and then pretty much we were always kind of mapping out two scenarios. So if it broke support right here, broke the trend, then we were actually looking for sells. And then as you can see here, this is very similar to what we're mapping out with GJ coming up right now. Is pretty much the same idea. Is we were looking for price to get below support, which it did, then it retested right here, and then as you can see, ended up dropping to the downside. Let's just bump up to the weekly. So this was my take profit level, kind of basing on this support level. Let's just zoom out a little bit and see if we can make sense of a better take profit level. So I'm going to map this out. All right, so the reason I put that there might look pretty random, but I see, just kind of zooming out, we have support there, resistance right here. We have support here, we have resistance right there. And then we have support, 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 resistance. We have some support, and then, yeah, so that's pretty much a level there. So we could have actually adjusted this take profit to be all the way down here, because this is really the next level of support that this thing could potentially move into. And obviously that's a massive kind of trade here. Now, if you want to re-enter, because at this point, this is obviously over with. And then this was like the perfect re-entry here. As you could see, price came up, retested support, ended up retesting support there, could have even entered on the retest there. I'm normally just throwing limit orders on in these scenarios. So right now I'd be throwing pretty much the limit order. I'd be throwing right there, because this is the previous support level. We're in a trend, right? We're in a clear downtrend. We have our lower target, which is all the way down here. So this would be 2.5 risk reward trade right there, just using limit orders, just trend trading zone to zone on the weekly. So that's Ncd Usd. We'll see how this one plays out for the week. And then let's get over to some actually fun pairs. Let's go over to NAS 100. So this was like a massive trade that I just got stopped on all the way up here. As you guys can see, if we come up to the weekly, boom, we auto do this. So weekly time frame, why did I want to take the trade right there? Is pretty much we had support here, we had support there. I mean, it's NAS 100, so it's normally very bullish. But as you could see, this entire trend right here ended up breaking down. And then that's when we started, why we started looking for sells. So it's a combination of break of the trends and then looking for sells. And then as you can see, price had come up here. Classic. We're seeing this all the time. Weekly resistance level, weekly key level. And then we have a reversal type candle, like some sort of spinning top right there. And then as we came to the 4-hour time frame, this is kind of where we took the trade all the way back here. So we were just kind of trying to take it right there. Should have probably waited for some actual rejection there, like a close. Didn't wait for it, ended up getting stopped. And then as you can see, I think ended up flying to the downside. So at this point, when would I have taken, re-entries? You could have lined it up at multiple points. You're really just looking for previous support levels when they form. And then you're just trying to continue to ride the trend here. So this would have been one area. Say you didn't look at the charts until this area, you could have taken it right here. So pretty much once it breaks the support, you're just putting a limit order right there. And then as you can see, you have 3.78 to the downside. You would have had a 1.4% stop loss. So it's more than 2-to-1 risk reward. And then you're doing pretty much the same thing. Is you're not trying to take a trade until it retests some sort of support level, like right there, wouldn't have taken the trade, doesn't retest support. And then you can see it's coming up. So it does like a little double top there. You could have potentially taken that there. It's like creating a new zone, but I don't personally love to do that. And then let's see where we're currently at. So where I would have taken it next is kind of the same deal, is we had a break of support right there. I would have threw a limit order right there. I would have threw stops up here. And then, you're always at least trying to get 2-to-1 risk reward. This would have faced some drawdown right there, but this is just typical trend trading. You're going zone to zone right here. So it's very, very easy to kind of follow. So yeah, this has been really good flow. And then as you can see, now we're kind of getting to our support level all the way at the bottom. So at this point, we're going to be looking for reversals on NAS 100. So look out for that. Haven't done US 30 in a while. I'll probably start doing that one. Been looking at NAS for the last like 2 months now, pretty much. And definitely liking the flow. Like it's definitely solid pair to trade. I know a lot of people, it's getting more and more popular. So yeah, definitely becoming a fan of NAS. So good old BTC. Let's see what the hell is up with this thing. So pretty much, as everyone knows, we had this little rally. Everyone came out, was all excited. Thing went up 25%, myself included, but pretty much expected that this thing is just going to dump after this little rally. I mean, at least a retest here. And as you can see, it definitely failed the retest, formed an evening star, and now we're just back at support. So we'll see, if this thing can hold. Looks very promising in my opinion. But BTC is very unpredictable. I'm personally waiting at this point now. I've got some positions in, and I'm actually very interested to take a position in this zone right here. So I'm kind of lining up for if it reaches the 32 area, that's where my next potential buy is going to be. And then we're going to target up there. So we're at a 4.3 risk reward ratio. I would just cash out if this ends up tanking all the way down to 20. I'm just going to cash out, buy back in this area. So yeah, we'll have to line up some other BTC trades once we get some more price action on this one. Haven't been doing any like margin trading or anything like that on this. If we come down, kind of gets a little choppy, but that's pretty much it. So guys, all the analysis for the week went over DXY, GJ, NU, UCAD, GU, NAS 100, BTC, USD. All the analysis is posted in the Telegram and the Discord. And then I believe, Nick, are those sessions you're doing in Discord, are those public that you're doing in the week?
Yep, they're public. Anyone can join.
Yeah, so guys, if you guys want to do more analysis sessions during the week, we've got inside of the Discord, Forex League Discord chat. We're doing some sessions in there, some live trading sessions. So definitely just join the Discord if you guys want to find out some more info about that. If this was the first Sunday Market Blitz for you guys, hope you enjoyed. We've pretty much been doing these, for like 2 years now, maybe even more.
I think we're closer
So
to 3 at this point. Yeah,
yeah, so we've been
it's been a
doing them for a
lot.
long time, every single week, and yeah, it's good. It's good for us. I mean, originally we really just did it for ourselves, just to do the analysis every single week, just to be on top of everything. And then, obviously we feel like people are out there that want different people's ideas and, want to be able to compare their analysis to everyone else's. So that's pretty much it. So guys, another blitz in the books. We're going to be posting some updates tomorrow in the Telegram, get things going again with the Forex League programs and whatnot. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoy the week and thanks for hopping on the session.
Yeah, 100%, guys. Enjoy what's left of the weekend, and let's get at it. Let's have a great week, and we're here if you need us. So Discord, Telegram, let us know. We'll see you guys in the community.
Big community, guys.
Oh yeah.
All right,
Peace,
guys.
guys.
Later.